Welcome back to what might be one of the craziest Ferrari dealerships in the world, and it certainly is the craziest one in the Midwest. Welcome back to Ferrari of Lake Forest, and I'm saying welcome back because I got to film here just over a year ago now, and there was an eclectic collection of hypercars, classics from Ferrari, Koenigsegg, and that is also the case here today. We're back for their open house. They're doing yet another one, which was a spectacular event last year and is already a spectacular event now. I've already done a bit of a sweep around to just prepare for filming, and well, I'll tell you, there's some pretty special stuff here, some surprises that I wasn't expecting. So sit back, relax, and let's take a look at some incredible cars from, well, mostly from Maranello. So I'm gonna enjoy this, and I hope you do too. And just walking in here, we're greeted with a 488 Challenge Evo. So that's definitely a great way to start the day, but plenty of SF90s and 296s to go around today. That will be a bit of a common trend. There are 3 296s over there, one of which is a really nice blue GTS as a matter of fact. But walking along here, we have, well, another 296 and 5 SF90s in various specs. Assetto Fiorano, non-Fiorano, coupes, spiders. I particularly like this spider here in what looks to be like a Rosso Rubino, Rosso Magno, something of that nature. Assetto Fiorano, carbon wheels, fantastic spec. Carbon wheels are one of my favorite options on Ferraris because they're just baller as hell. They're $40,000 to $50,000 option, and well, this spider has that too. But I'm particularly inclined to this green spider here. Not sure exactly which color it is, but it is very lovely. And walking along here, we have a matte green SF90 XX. Got to feature an XX in my last video, and we're featuring, well, not one today because there's another one right there in a bit of a Batman spec, the black, with the yellow. Quite an interesting car, and in the middle of it is the SP2 that actually featured in last year's video. And walking along, we have a white Pro Sangue. Pro Sangue is going to be another common trend spotted today, but I want to show you guys this, the Dodici Cylindri. I don't think I've featured one of these on the channel yet. I am actually a huge lover of this design. It works a lot better in person than in pictures, and even in this video, I don't think it truly does this car justice, because I remember the first time I saw one of these, probably over 6 months ago now, maybe closer to 8 months ago. It looked like something worth $3 million, and it was sitting among some other multi-million-dollar cars. So it definitely is an interesting design. It's definitely a controversial design, but I think it does the Daytona styling well. This car paying homage to the 365 GT4, aka the Daytona, and I don't know, I think it pulls it off pretty well. Again, it is a very polarizing design, and I think it is very spec dependent, but I do like this car, and I do like it in this color, and without the shields is certainly interesting. Not many out there lacking the Scuderia shields, but I think it makes it, you know, pretty nice, and it's a pretty elegant car. And just looking at the front end, again, very polarizing, but I don't know, I think it pulls it off. We'll see how time treats this car in terms of consumer taste, in terms of other designs that will come out in the future, and of course the specs that people will choose. But it's a polarizing car, but I think I like it. And I mentioned that we would see some incredible classics today, and well, I wasn't lying, because there are some incredible classics here. So wanted to point out this to start off. I think this is the heaviest hitter of this row. This is a Ferrari 575 GTZ built by Zagato, one of only 6 cars ever made. Got to see one of them last year at Velocity Invitational at Sonoma Raceway, driven by Rob Walton, the Walmart family. And he was driving this around the track, driving it to and from his hotel while he was driving his Maserati Birdcage on the track. So that kind of paints a picture for the level of baller you have to be to have one of these cars. But walking along, got a 512 BBI, one of my absolute favorites from the 80s. Sammy Hagar car, not the Sammy Hagar spec, but I do love this. But then next to that, one of my favorite cars from the 60s, the 275 GTB4 in this beautiful, beautiful bronze color. Got to see a few pictures of this car online. I've never actually seen it in person, and well, seeing it in person, I can tell you I am absolutely in love. 275, one of my favorites, and this color certainly does the part. Walking along, got a 275 GTS, lovely, lovely car in that silver, very elegant, very nice. Got a 250 GT Buono from the late 50s, one of the first 250 variants. These things were raced all over the world, including at races like the Mille Miglia, and it's a lot smaller than other 250s like the GTs, the GTOs, It's a much smaller car, much smaller footprint, and I mean this spec too with the white, with the red interior, absolutely killer. Next to that, get a 400 Super America. Don't know too much about these, I will admit, but I mean, in silver, looks absolutely lovely. And then rounding it off with a Dino 246 GTS. Got a couple other Dinos here, which we will take a look at in a little bit, but this one, certainly a great way to round out a very, very nice row of cars. And I might have been giving you guys a bit of a Ferrari overload, but just gotta remember that Lake Forest is also a Pininfarina dealer, so here are some Batistas. These cars actually featured in last year's video. They're still here on the showroom floor looking absolutely magnificent. These cars are based on the Rimac Nevera, and I would absolutely take a Batista over a Nevera. I think it looks so much better, and because it's designed by Pininfarina, it is absolutely beautiful and looks kind of like a what if Ferrari had built something similar, but obviously Ferrari and Pininfarina are no longer in cahoots with one another. Pininfarina is doing their own thing, as is Ferrari, but checking out these cars, I know that these two are a special edition with the flipped paint scheme. I don't know too much about them, I will admit, and I didn't know too much about them last year either, but I think they look absolutely fantastic. Very different, but very interesting. I like the kind of, I hate to say Nardo gray style, but it is kind of Nardo gray style over the white, and then the kind of the reverse on the other car next to it. They complement each other pretty well. I think they do look better next to each other. It kind of better explains the spec. And then we also got this sand colored Batista here, which looks beautiful under the light. I am a huge sucker for sand and tan colored cars nowadays. I mean, just saw that beautiful 275 over there, but this car looks absolutely magnificent. And of the three, this is easily the one I would take. And going back to Ferrari, there are plenty of other cars here for sale from the 80s, 2000s, 2020s, and all the other decades in between. 296, F8, Roma Spider, Roma Coupe, F12. But I want to highlight just a couple of cool and interesting cars. First one is this Pro Sangue. I really like the Grigio Scuro on this car, the non-metallic gray. It is a very underrated color in my opinion. It's very elegant, very simple, but I think it just works very well on the Pro Sangue. But what works even better is this, the Grigio Titanium on the 550 Maranello, one of my absolute favorite Ferraris. This is the Bad Boys car. This is in the Bad Boys spec. And of course, all 550s come with a gated manual gearbox. 550s, I think, are going to be such a hot collector's item in the future. We've already seen them start to creep up, but I think these cars have a very, very favorable future for them. And if you do, by chance, have a Ferrari 550, don't sell it or give it to me because I want one. And now we're walking into the service center with plenty of treasures. Got that silver Pista up on the lift being worked on. Pista's a great car. I'm not the biggest fan of the turbo V8, but in the Pista, I think it's fantastic. The best application of that V8 is in the Pista, in my opinion, out of the Ferraris that I've got to experience, but plenty more SF90s to go around. Got another Spider here, a very nice Pro Sangue, as well as the yellow 550, getting a lot of love and attention. But next to that is an Aston DB6 in the silver birch, famous from James Bond, obviously Bond known for his DB5, but still particularly cool. Next to that, got a 355 Berlinetta. These have gone up quite a lot in value, particularly the coupes. Love the coupes so much, more than the Spiders and the Targa versions. The coupe is the car that I would have. But in front of that, got a 458 Speciale, one of my absolute favorite Ferraris, which we'll take another look at in a minute. And of course, the eagle-eyed among you might notice, well, the Hamilton Collection Regera, just sitting there. It was running a little bit ago, so the car works currently, so that's nice. And yeah, obviously this place is also a Koenigsegg dealer and service center, so Regeras will find their way here every now and then. And I mentioned before there'd be more Dinos in this video, and well, here's a coupe, there's a GTS next. And I mentioned before there'd be more Dinos in this video. Got a yellow coupe, got a silver GTS. Quite lovely cars. And here's that Speciale from before with gold wheels. Not many Speciales around with gold wheels, so this is definitely a very interesting spec. White with the gold, red calipers, absolute win. And I mean, this is my absolute dream car under $1 million, which I hope they stay $1 million for under $1 million for a long period of time because I want to buy one. But the goalpost seems to get further and further away from me as the days and weeks continue, as these things continue to just shoot up in value. And then there's the Regera next to it. I want that though. And on the other side of service, we've got my favorite Ferrari, the GT3 RS Heritage Edition. I always forget the name of the special edition, paying homage to the Carrera RS. Featured one in the last video, and now here's another one. So one of 150, there you go for the GT3 RS fanboys. Now you're satisfied. But back to some crazy stuff. There's an F40 on the lift over there with the plate that says cancel. I don't know what that particularly means, but it's an F40 on the lift, so I'll let it slide. Walking along, got lots more Ferraris, a 296, a 456, 328, but I want to take a particular look at this, the 599 GTO, one of my absolute dream cars from the late 2000s, early 2010s, the Top Gear era, as I call it. This is the hardcore variant of the 599, super limited car, limited to 599 units, and most of them sit away in collections, never really see the light of day. But over almost 10 years ago now, on the way to a show at this very location, I saw one on the highway and was rolling alongside it, and just, I mean, I oohed and ahed at it for probably 20 minutes as we were rolling alongside the 599 GTO. So very special car in my automotive history, and well, to get to see one here in this, I believe it's white. It looks almost like Bianco Avis though, under some certain lights. Regardless of what white it is, well, beautiful. It's a GTO. What's not to like? And now that we're outside, we're also joined by a silver CLK 63 Black Series. Yet another dream car from my childhood, so that's pretty cool. And got a matte black Huracan Spider making its presence known. But that is about it for today, guys. Bit of a shorter video for you all, but just wanted to share the dealership, show you guys around, and show off some absolutely incredible cars, many of which ranging in the $1 million plus bracket. And Mr. Lamborghini wants to make himself even more known. But thank you all so much for watching today, guys. If you did enjoy this video, remember to like and subscribe. But until next time, guys, this was me, Patrick, the King of Cars. Thank you for watching. Take care.